yeah, heck yeah. Let it go, let it go.
Good morning, crypto fans. How are we doing out there? Today is Thursday, March the 4th, 2021. As you can see in the card, I mentioned that Bitcoin is currently in consolidation, as well as some of the alt and DeFi coins. As we can see on the heat map, are starting to turn green. So it looks like the alts are going to lead the way for us today as we try to climb back up to yesterday's levels. Let's switch over the charts and have a look here. How we doing out there? If you're out there, say hi in the chat, like, subscribe, do all those kind of things. You hit that little bell, that will alert you when we're live. So right now, let's move on to BTC USD. And as I indicated, we are trading sideways, which is healthy consolidation. Basically when the buyers and sellers typically agree on price, so there's no momentum either direction. And so what we're watching was we did have a big red, excuse me, volume indicator on the previous 4 hours. We're on the 4-hour chart here on TradingView. So keeping an eye on that as we try to maintain support at the 49,132.19. And the first level of resistance, as you see, we've had a couple of shots at this one at the right at the 50,000 psychological, and we have the 100-day moving average right above us to get through as well. So looking for some momentum for the bulls to step in and buy us up through this resistance level. And we do have the 12 and 26-day moving average just below the 100. It usually indicates it's going to go sideways for a while. Moving on, let's get into our watch list and see how we're doing here. Let's look for DOT USD. There we go. As you can see, we did put the fib up on here. We've got some new levels. Let's go ahead and pull that out and see where we are. There we are. There's the low. There's the swing high. So there we go. We got the fib set up. So we will set this one up. We may be getting into a trade zone. So let's do that real quick if you don't mind. Shouldn't take just a minute. So we're looking for a retracement on the way up. So it should retrace back. If it gets down into the 0.78 and the 0.88, that is our typical buy zone there. Let's see if I can get that out over here so we can see what we're doing. There we are. And we got the wrong direction. So let's get this one on over here. There we are. And there we go. And then we'll use, if you've, this looked confusing to you, have a look at some of the previous videos over the past weekend, and we cover how to use these Fibonacci retracement tools to set your buy and sell targets. There we go. Then we'll use some rectangles real quick to indicate this will be our buy zone. Then we'll just make a quick copy of that. This would be our sell target. We'll color that guy red real quick, and then we'll be off it to the races. There we go. So now what we're looking to happen is for this to DOT USD to drop back into this green shaded area, which means that we would have retraced all the way below, almost down to the 100% mark on the Fibonacci here. So this would be our buy target, and then of course we will be swinging this one into the trade zone and sell up here in the red. So let's go ahead and get you some resistance and support. Currently holding support at the 35.49, or let's say 35.50 even USD. And we'll put, this would be, by the way, your stop level. It should bounce right off that 100-day if we were to get down there. But yeah, support at the 35.50-ish, right on it. You could wiggle it around. And then resistance to encounter would be the first level of resistance on the climb back up is going to be the 36.66. For DOT USD, move it on to BNB, Binance Coin, BNB USD. This one is a tighter range, so I just have the Fibonacci sitting over here for to watch. This basically is in the no trade zone. I don't think we have enough wiggle room. Let's see. Let's put the rule on there real quick. Should we get up to, yeah, it's 12%, so that's doable. We'll keep an eye on that one. For tonight's watch list, we'll set that up for you because we're getting close on time here. But BNB support is trying to hold. We're going to have to change into the 1 hour. See more. There we go. As you can see, we touched down here on this spinning top at the 231.179. So this may be ripe for a trade getting in. If we could get down, the RSI can get down into the oversold, we may be looking at a bounce. And if that's the case, we would look for resistance at the, let's use the body. We had 1, 2, 3 bodies of those candles there. It would be a good indicator for 237.15. BNB USD. IOTA. Moving on to IOTA. There we go. IOTA. As you can see, this one's, I've got this rectangle drawn here indicating a very tight range. Basically, it's trading a 10-cent bounce here. So this particular one is in a no trade zone, but if you are looking for support resistance, we'll get that for you. We're here on the 1 hour time frame just so we can get some clarity. Looks like we're trying to hold at the 1.189 USD. And as you can see, the 12-26 day moving averages are creating resistance above us. So hitting down on the 100 for support, 12-26, so we're stuck in between those two moving averages and bouncing around till we can get some direction. Moving on to ADA, Cardano. As you can see, we had marked the this level of this is basically consolidation for some time. We did break through, so we can take that off the table. And now we're going to be scouting for a bottom. Once we get that, we can set up a trade for the bounce. At the moment, again, this is not financial advice. I'm just some dude on the internet. Don't take financial advice from anybody on YouTube. Look for professionals. But we will show you how to do this, and you can make your own decisions should you want to do so. So support is holding at 1.12. Very important level is the $1 mark for IOTA. I'm sorry, for ADA. And looks like we got some more support levels before we even have to worry about that, if worrying is your thing. Resistance for the climb up. We're going to be looking at the, right here in this previous candle over here, 1.17. Really tight range to work with until we can get some direction. And we do have a rounding top, so be aware of that. But we are getting to the oversold, so we'll be scouting a bounce. We do a watch list at 6 p.m. every night, Monday through Friday. So join us tonight, and we will put together some sales targets, buy and sell targets, I should say. Moving on to Link, L-I-N-K. It looks like Link, we are setting up for a trade on that particular one, so we will put together some fibs on this guy. So we have support down here at the 28.74, resistance quite a bit at the 29.40. So as you can see, we're just kind of working our way down, and it looks like we're going to come down and visit the 100-day moving average as it's coming up underneath. So we have your support and resistance levels, 29.37 resistance and 28.57 support. Moving on to Ethereum, ETH USD. As you can see, I wanted to show you this particular one. I did leave this fib on here to represent that this would have been the bottom. This was the top, where you would have, if you were in this trade a while back, you would have exited once we got up here. So now we're kind of consolidating, and we'll need to do away with these guys for now, because this one is, we're looking for some new levels here. So we'll clean that up and then get you some support and resistance. There we go. Ethereum support at the 1542.24 USD, resistance. Let's get these stacked in order here. Sorry about that. Here we go. Resistance at 1572.35. We'll just swap that out so it looks a little cleaner. There we go. So a very tight range, as I mentioned. The volume's starting to taper off. Looking for this 100-day to get down there underneath, provide support. So we're going to scout some direction for ETH USD. Moving on to XLM Stellar. As you can see, Stellar, I've got this one set up. We're scouting for this buy zone down here. But right now we are holding support right at this target here on the fib. So once we hit in the green zone, that would be a good indicator if everything else works out. We want to establish some support, close inside here, and then that would be an entry. With this would be our target up here. So looking at support to hold at 0.40. And as you can see, all these moving averages are converging here on the 1 hour time frame. Trying to provide, it is definitely providing some resistance, not trying, I should say. So 0.417, tight range as well. Looking if we can get down into the buy zone as the RSI is in the oversold. That would be a good indicator for a bounce for XLM USD. So keep an eye on that one. Moving on to NU USD. How are we doing on time? Yep, still good. If you're out there, say hey in the chat. If you got some coins you want me to chart, I'm happy to do those. This particular one as well, we're watching, holding support at the 0.690 and resistance up at the 0.71 USD. We dipped down into the buy target here, but didn't manage to close inside of it. So we look for it to retrace back down to that region if this support up here doesn't hold. So keep an eye for that one. That is NU USD. Moving on to NMR USD. Very tight range on this guy, so it's basically not in a trade zone at the moment. Within, it's $2, so what is that percentage-wise? That may be, let's just pull a ruler on there. So, yeah, pretty tight for 4%. That would be, yeah, a little tricky. So let's put support at the bottom there at the 0.4041. Resistance is going to be right in this culmination of all the moving averages start to merge together at 41.23 USD. Moving on to Litecoin LTC USD. As I indicated yesterday, we did exit 90% of this trade, we being me, yesterday, and then we're just gonna leave the rest on the table because I do want to keep a position, especially with its house money now. We'll just leave the rest in there because we do anticipate some more movement on Litecoin as the payment discussion continues. So let's look for support and resistance. Support is going to be at the 182.30. We're still on a 1 hour time frame because we're getting pretty tight to view it on the four hour range. So we're going to get in here on the 1 hour and so if we can scope out some movement here. We did hit, you see a couple of attempts to hit through this 12-day moving average. Continued to come down through underneath that. So it's going to be resistance as well as a 26-day moving average. So there we are for Litecoin, LTC, USD. Moving on to COMP, C-O-M-P. COMP is one of your DeFi tokens. Very tight range, similar pattern, although I did put this Fibonacci retracement on here to show, you see how we're just kind of bouncing around this 0.382, and it looks pretty strong right there. So we may be able to base in here, consolidate, and then bounce up with any momentum. So we're going to have resistance here at the 487.81, support at the 470. I'm sorry, 469.95. There we are. And then you'd have a little bit more to fall back on should we punch through there. Moving on to basic attention coin, BAT USD. There we are, BAT. And we did try to punch through. Where are we at here? Here we go. You see this previous resistance now providing support at the 0.708 USD. And got some wiggle room on this to the upside. So 0.768 resistance. Very lightly traded. And RSI is dead center. So BAT. Moving on to GRT USD. Once again, this was an earlier trade, so we did hit the sell target back in here. You can see that was the exit. So now we're going to be scouting a new level of support. So we'll have to readjust our fibs because here's our price pivot, but we did push below. So we'll just take that one off for now until we can set some clear levels. And like I said, tune in tonight on the watch list and we'll go back over these. It looks like we're going to be sideways. The stock market is down as when I looked earlier, the S&P. So we have been trading in correlation with that for several weeks now. So keep an eye out for that. So looking for support to hold on GRT at 1.81 and resistance is going to be right here at the 1.91. If we can get above that, look for the $2 range as we start to eye that psychological number. 100-day coming up, increasing volume, and at the moment we have a bull hammer. So if that can close up there, we'd be in good shape for a move up to the upside. Okay, moving into some of the DeFi tokens real quick. There we go. Do a quick sort. There we go. UNI, USD, breaking out. Not quite at the all-time highs, but as you can see, pretty risky trade up here. So be careful out there. So let's see if we'll go to the 1 hour and get some support levels real quick. You have support at the 27.69. Resistance would be at here at the previous candle, 29.67. So a $2 range right now for UNI USD. Moving on to one on our watch list is AAVE. Pretty much been going sideways for several days now. 1, 2, 3, 4 days. Yeah, so just for a day. So you do have support at the 382.87 and resistance right here on these double tops, 394. 100-day underneath, 1226 are heading down. And we have volume. It's drying up a little bit. Moving on to MKR USD. MKR has entered the buy target. So might be, if you're considering this one, we may be a little bit late to the party here, because we are trying to get above this 100-day moving average. So keep that one in mind. Watch that 100-day. And we have support down at the 2129.23. Going to look at resistance of, if we can get above the 100-day moving average, is going to be, the first line is the 2174.80. MKR USD. And that rounds out the watch list for today. If anyone has any suggested tokens, say it now. So basically, we are scouting new entries for today. Like I said, check in tonight for the watch list, and maybe by then we can have more clarity on how things are moving around. Meanwhile, stay safe out there. We'll see you this evening. Thank you.